ESPN
Craig
announced.
Stammen is the new manager of the San Diego Padres.
Wait.
Yep. Sorry.
According to whom?
Kevin Acey. Just sent it out, and it is now posted on the Union Tribune website. So, congratulations,
that's
Matt
the end of the
Jones.
Matt Jones.
You have
San Diego
everybody.
legend.
Padres have hired a new manager, Craig Stammen, who spent 6 years as a Padres relief pitcher, has agreed to a 3-year contract, according to the Union Tribune, to become the team's next manager. The surprise candidate that no one was talking about is the new manager of the San Diego Padres. The hire is expected to be announced later this morning. We will let you know if there's a news conference. Of course, we will cover it here on 97.3 The Fan.
Immediate reaction. Craig
Still
is
surprised.
Very surprised.
Yep.
Somebody in the organization.
Sure. Which
somebody very, very well respected.
Right. But someone with no managerial experience is going to have to learn on the job a bit. I mean, you're going to need to give them a good coaching staff, obviously, and hopefully you can keep as many of your superstar coaches like Ruben Niebla and Ben Fritz as possible.
Now I'm wondering if Don Mattingly is going to be the
bench coach
of the
that
Padres.
Would make a lot of sense, actually. Of experienced former manager.
Wow, but a stunner.
As a bench coach.
I mean, I would classify this as a stunner.
Oh, yeah.
For all reasons.
I do feel
somebody
like
who is not reported on.
I do feel like we should have thrown his name into the mix.
Agree
when we
with
were
you.
throwing out people like Mark Loretta in the organization, Craig Stammen's name should have been thrown out along with everybody else in just kind of a blanket sense, just knowing how highly he's thought of. But again, when you don't hear a name at all for 2.5 weeks in a process, and then all of a sudden he's hired, you've got to be considered at least somewhat of an out of left field shocker here.
All right, I'm reading, trying to get through Kevin Acey's story here, and this obviously happening just while we're on the air. A tight circle of team officials led by Chairman John Seidler, AJ Preller, Eric Greutner chose Stammen over Niebla, Pujols, Hundley. The plan is for Niebla, who has 2 years remaining on his contract, to be retained.
Love that.
Okay.
Padres are expected to retain most of their coaching staff, searching for a new hitting coach and third base coach. We already knew that.
Tim Leeper has been hired by the Mets. Do we know that? I hadn't.
I had read that.
You had read that one? Okay.
Yep. According to people familiar with the interview process, Stammen impressed Padres officials in his interviews with the genuine manner in which he communicated his conviction about how a team should be run and his knowledge of the organization.
Look, I like Craig a lot. I've always been impressed by him. I think he's a great baseball mind. He's somebody very well respected. So I'm not surprised. And I think we alluded to this when we first read the Matt Jones tweet. I'm not surprised at all that Craig Stammen's going to be a manager. It's out of left field. It's out of nowhere. It's a stunner.
It's, he was teammates with some of the players he will now be managing. Manny Machado, Jake Cronenworth, Adrian Morejon, Joe Musgrove, Fernando Tatis Jr. He was on the team with all of those guys, and Yu Darvish as well. Obviously, you won't be pitching this year, but he was teammates with all 6 of those guys during the end of his tenure with the San Diego Padres. Remember, he started the pandemic playoff decisive game 3, the bullpen game against the St. Louis Cardinals, when they beat Mike Schilt's team to advance to the second round of the playoffs in 2020.
It's a totally different hire than the last 2. Bob Melvin, tons of experience. Mike Schilt, a lot of experience.
Although it is similar to Mike Schilt in that he was working inside the organization,
very similar
with the front office, like Mike Schilt was when then he was brought in to maintain at least some semblance of continuity going forward. So they'll have to hire a couple of coaches, but they'll try to keep as many coaches and as much continuity as possible going forward. I promise you one thing. You if you don't know Craig Stammen, if you're a fairly newer Padres fan, you're going to like Craig Stammen.
I agree.
I promise you will like Craig Stammen.
Yeah,
whether he'll be a good manager or not, I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, and you're right. This probably should have been someone that we spoke more about, that we threw into the mix earlier. Now, in our defense, I think every show on the station's defense, it's not like anybody else was reporting on it. All the reporting that was done about Pujols and Hundley, just Matt Jones. I mean, that is the stunning part about it. But from the standpoint of Craig Stammen, the idea of him being a major league manager, I think for for those of us who have dealt with Craig and know him, I don't think it's surprising in the slightest, but I do think the timing is pretty stunning.
By the way, if there was ever any doubt about whether AJ Preller is still in control of this team,
agreed.
This ends all of it. Contract extension or not, AJ is Craig Stammen's an AJ guy. He's someone that AJ has often spoke highly of, has worked closely with AJ in the front office. Very much an AJ Preller hire here, which is not a bad thing.
No.
But it's not a sign that AJ is losing some of the control of the team or anything at this point. It's a sign that that AJ is still very much making the decisions. At Petco Park.
I would agree with that. I would be stunned if this doesn't come along with an extension for AJ. And I think you're right, Ben. I think it speaks to this being a real AJ hire and somebody that they probably feel can work hand in hand with this front office for sure.
Correct.
I would assume that's a large part of it is somebody who can work hand in hand with this front office, somebody they know, who I think is probably easy to work with, who they understand him, he understands them.
Paulie, I think we have our biggest fan on the line. Got to get the important stuff here. Got to make sure we take care of that. We totally interrupted. We got about 4 seconds into the Roundel Report when this all broke.
Matt
we'll let
Jones.
you get back to it.